Hey, what's up? I'm Michael Sorrentino, and today I want to talk about how getting a camera has changed how I create my guitar videos, as well as my reasons for switching and what my current workflow looks like. So this is what my footage used to look like before with just my regular iPhone 14, and this is after. So how I used to record my guitar videos was just on my phone, right? I would hook it up to one of these classic little iPhone stretchy little mounts, right? Pick an angle, pretty similar to the one we just saw, but all I had was the ring light that's right over here, lighting this side of my face, and I would have the iRig stream hooked up to my phone, coming directly out of my inputs 3 and 4 on my interface. The audio would just go straight to my phone, and then I would pretty much just post that. I would maybe color correct something in the videos, but I wouldn't do a whole lot of editing to it. I was just running into limitations, like I could only do so much with the iPhone footage. Typically I would shoot in the 4K 24 or 30 frames per second, just using the iPhone camera app, and that was fine as well. But eventually I ended up getting the Blackmagic camera app on my phone, and that let me dial some things in a little better, like the shutter speed to exactly double my frame rate, which did help a little bit. The footage did get a little quality increase with that, but you can only do so much because of the size of the sensor inside the phone. There are some things I miss about that process of making the videos on the phone, just because there's less steps. It's a little easier to post a video. You don't have to really put a file into DaVinci Resolve to edit it very much. You can literally just use like the TikTok editor or the Instagram editor and it would be fine. So I do miss that, but switching was definitely worth the quality increase. Another reason for switching was because I've been watching a lot of Joshua De La Victoria's videos, and I really like how his videos look. You know, it's very aesthetic. He's got the lighting dialed in and everything. You know, I just wanted more professional looking videos to kind of reflect on like where I think I'm at in my guitar journey. Yeah, I was just ready for a bump up in quality. I guess another reason for getting the camera for my guitar videos is because I wanted to dive into videography a little bit. I also wanted to dabble in photography and stuff, but it's just something fun to do. It's another avenue to explore, another creative field to, you know, to test the waters in. So I'm all about it. So my new camera is the Sony A6700, and the lens I'm using is the Viltrox 27mm f1.2. I'm pretty happy with how this look came together. I didn't really know anything about choosing lenses or what focal length, you know, I would really need. Part of me wishes I had gotten a different focal length lens, not necessarily like brand of lens or anything, but just the focal length, because the 27mm right now, the lens is about 4.5, 5 feet away from me. And when I'm filming my guitar videos, I have it pinned up all the way in the corner of my room, about 6 feet away from where I usually sit for it. So it kind of makes it annoying to like get up and press record and power on the camera and stuff. But I think the look is good. I like the amount of like lens compression I have, but I think a lens I would probably go for is more along the lines of like the Sigma 16mm lens. I hear that's really good. It might be my next purchase. I don't know yet. So for my recording formats, when I take photos, it's just the raw file type, uncompressed. And then for video, I usually just do 4K 24 or 422 10-bit color. I want to say it's the S type of file. So it's like still good quality, but it's not taking up a ridiculous amount of space or anything. One thing I really like about this lens in particular is that it's f1.2. It lets in a lot of light, which means I don't have to crank my key light very bright. I want to say I have it set on 9%. That's plenty for what I'm doing here. Also, because it's an f1.2, there's that really nice background blur. I've never been a fan of the iPhone cinematic mode on their cameras because it's just, you can tell it's fake, and I don't like that. So now before I shoot, I'm a little more intentional with how I set my frame up, how I set my lighting up, the angles, white balance, which I'm still trying to learn. I just kind of usually set it to auto, which I'm sure some people don't do, but I'm not a professional. While I'm recording, I do kind of find it easier because the autofocus is so good on these cameras that I don't really have to worry about it losing me or losing the guitar, because I can usually either set it to like a zone, how I have it now. It's kind of like, this is the zone that it's focusing on right now. Or I can have it set to a particular spot. You know, usually I have it set like over here or something for my guitar. Sometimes on the iPhone, the focus would shift kind of frequently, especially if I had it on cinematic mode, because it's just always hunting. That's one drawback to it. And after I'm done shooting my videos and stuff, I notice a lot more flexibility as far as editing goes. It does take up a lot more space, a lot more gigabytes of storage. I have a way easier time correcting the colors and making things look decent. I don't know how to color grade, but it's way easier on this footage because there's so many more colors to choose from, and I use Davinci Resolve, which is really good. The quality is so much better on the output as compared to like CapCut, which just destroys the audio quality, which was the main reason I got Davinci, because I was like, I need something else. It was just getting destroyed, or like sometimes it would actually get the audio out of sync. That really ticked me off. So, but then there is the time investment into making these videos. To me, the time investment is worth the quality upgrade, because I would rather have like a higher quality video, better audio, better cuts, than having a lot of lower quality videos, if that makes sense. I know the algorithm probably doesn't care either way as long as you are churning out content, but I got no hate for the dudes that film on their phones. I think some people actually don't mind it. I don't mind it, to be fair, when I watch other people's videos, but like, this is what I want for myself, to have like this level of video quality in my Instagram posts and my TikToks and stuff like that, because I like how it looks. Some lessons learned from this experience: do your research when choosing a camera and choosing a lens, because it is a big decision. These things are not cheap. Kind of set out what you want out of a camera. Like for me, I kind of wanted a hybrid setup. I knew I was going to want to take some photos. I knew I was going to take some video, mainly video, but having the capability to easily take photos, have a viewfinder, for me was a big thing. The Sony A6700 just kind of fit the bill for what I wanted out of a camera. If you're going to exclusively do video, I would say check out the FX30. Of course, it depends on your budget, right? The full frame versus APS-C debate is not something I really feel qualified to talk about. I chose APS-C because, one, the price difference is crazy. Two, it's fine. it's fine. The APS-C versus full frame question really depends on what you want. It depends on your budget, because the lenses for full frame cameras are much more expensive. The actual cameras themselves are more expensive because of the larger sensor size and like the capability they have, the low light performance, all that. But I knew for video, I would mainly be doing like this studio lighting situation, so I wouldn't really be going too crazy. But the 6700 does have some really good capability from like all the street photography POVs I've seen. Looks great. I haven't had a chance to get out there at night yet to take some night photography and stuff like that, but I'll check it out at some point. Another thing that would be a good idea for you if you're trying to get into this is make sure you have some SSDs laying around. Make sure you have ample file storage. Make sure you get a fast enough SD card, because apparently there's different speeds in which cameras can read and write on these SD cards. There's like a V30, a V60, V90 as far as your read and write speeds go. I want to say the card I have is V60, which is good enough for like 4K, 60, 120 slow-mo stuff that I've done. Do your research on SD cards. Have enough storage for all these photos and videos you're going to take, because depending on your camera file format, these files could be huge depending on how long you're recording. If you're recording for like 2 hours plus, these files are going to take like, I don't know, 60, 70 gigabytes maybe. So be prepared. So I'm going to show you how I have my SSD set up as far as file organization goes. So inside my SSD main, I've got a Sony A6700 folder, and inside that folder I have different import dates, so I can just quickly see, last Saturday or whatever, I imported something, and now I'm gonna go into those, and then I have a photos and videos folder so I can see, just so things are more organized. And pro tip, if you want to automatically have it to where you can just click on like an icon on your dock and it'll automatically make a folder with these sorts of folders inside those folders, just ask ChatGPT. I've done this in a previous video and I've kind of refined it to where it just makes the folder. But that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. I just drag and drop the files from my SD card. I put it in my SD card reader. It pops up, drag and drop it into those folders. Call it a day, import it into DaVinci Resolve. So to me, the biggest improvement in my workflow is really just me paying more attention to what I'm doing. You can have good gear, you can have okay gear, like just a phone, but as long as you are like paying attention to what you're doing, being intentional, I think that is what really shows. You know, just showing that you care a little bit goes a long way. You know, I'm not aiming after cinematic perfection or anything, which is impossible because art is objective. But I'm just trying to make better quality videos for myself because I want them to look a certain way. And that's really all it is at the end of the day. So with all that being said, if you have a camera setup that you're really happy with, a certain lens you really like, what combination of camera and lens you've got, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it. I would love to nerd out about this stuff. So if you like the video, like this sort of content, let me know. Drop a like, hit subscribe, you know the good stuff. I've got more guitar content coming, and I've got some ideas brewing. Appreciate you watching.